Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Tonight we focus on outrage over aerial bombing of civilians in Kaduna State. And I've been speaking with a former deputy head of security at the African Union Commission, Addis Ababa, in Ethiopia, retired Group Captain Sadiq Shehu. Group Captain, thank you for staying with us. Let's go on with this conversation. And also related to my last question, can citizens sue military or government?
Again, another very good question. I spoke about solatium. Solatium is the payment that government does without even asking, without even the victim saying he wants to go to court. It's global best practice. Why is it so? It shows sympathy. It also brings, shows that the armed forces or the service that caused that incident, they are aware that they have harmed people. Now, solatium, even after it is paid, under the law, a citizen that has been harmed can sue. He can sue either it is the federal government, either it is the armed forces, he can sue. We should not forget, in 2012 or 2013, there was another collateral damage of a different type. Why do I say of a different type? That was happened at a ground operation. If we remember the Kekena Pep that were killed in an empty house in Gudu, in Abuja here, where an operation carried out by the Brigade of Guards and DSS, where they received again information that was not verified that that empty building is occupied by Boko Haram. Not knowing that it is the normal Kekena Pep people who cannot afford houses, who after their work they go and sleep there. An operation happened and several people, I can't remember, were killed, some were injured. They sued for compensation. And I think the case was heard by the National Human Rights Commission. That time it was Odinkalu that was chairing human rights. They paid them compensation. The military and federal government, appealed the case. But I think the higher court also, insisted that those people were paid. So, in short, apart from the solatium, which should be given without asking, a citizen can sue. A citizen can sue for the violation of his rights. That is the actual position.
So the Kaduna State Governor has said it is investigating to ensure this does not happen again. Do you think this will end, or do you think this will end well, or how do you think this will end?
Yes, I heard what the governor of Kaduna State said. First, I had to commend him for some of the efforts he took, like taking care of the medical bills and other expenses of the people. And I don't blame him. As a governor, his first responsibility is to his people. So when he says that he's going to stand by his people and to get their rights, there's nothing wrong with that. That is why he was elected. However, his promise that he'll ensure that will not happen. With the kind of system we know in Nigeria, security or the control of the armed forces under the federal government. With due respect, this is where I see that unless if it is through advocacy with the federal government to ensure that more training, more procedures, more, again, investigation is done, I think that is the only thing that a governor, not only of Kaduna State, of any state can be able to do. Because the powers to do something over what is happening with regard to collateral damage resides with the federal government, because it's an exclusive matter under the federal government.
All right, so, in October 2022, NAF said it has commenced an investigation into accidental airstrikes on civilians in the country. My question is, how do you think this investigation should go? Because this is not the first time we will be hearing that such a terrible incident will be investigated, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. How do you think this investigation should go?
Thank you very much. Investigations are normal in Nigeria, but how they are done, what comes after the investigation, is the important thing. And what is that important thing we are seeing? The important thing we should be searching for any investigation is to get to the root cause, remote and immediate causes of an incident. Why did it happen? Any incident that you look like regarding this collateral damage, you will find either wrong procedure, either lack of training, or in the worst case, negligence. Negligence, that is to say, the person was trained, he was well equipped, but he did not apply the training. Now, an investigation should be able to find out what caused that. If it is a wrong procedure, you change procedure. If it is a wrong training or missing training, you put additional training. If it is negligence, you punish the person. Unfortunately, that is not what we are doing. And with due respect, again, I have to raise the issue of when such things happen, this is what is called independent investigation. Independent investigation in an investigation that is carried out by an agency, not the agency that caused the havoc. If we are looking for a solution. If you say an agency should investigate itself, then already you have started on the wrong footing. The collateral damage of 2017 in Iran, I vividly remember because I appeared before a presidential panel that was set up to investigate that and other allegations against the military. There was a report, but unfortunately nothing came out of the report. Like I said, out of the report, you are seeking for two things: change in procedure, increase in training, change in equipment, or again, a punishment. But the punishment, I don't want to emphasize the punishment. The punishment is just to prevent, it's not the most. If you get the other three things, you are good and done. So we already have other investigation of collateral damage. But where they went, we do not know. In fact, there are some that were not even investigated. You mentioned the one that happened January this year in Nasarawa. That one, unfortunately, we didn't even hear any official statement as to who was responsible. In Kaduna here, the army has courageously come out to say they were responsible. In the one in Nasarawa, unfortunately, I'm honest, not even acknowledging that it has happened. I mean, it's inhuman. Because what you are saying is that those people that died is like they never existed. They never existed. That is the meaning of it. So we should see investigation that is independent. Find an independent body of experts to tell you. It should not be in this respect, the army or the air force, they are at fault, then you tell them go and investigate. That is not an investigation. And at the end of investigation, because the armed forces is the people armed forces, to have the confidence of the people that is doing, there are aspects of the report that should be made public. The ones that do not completely concern security, they should be made public. This is what we see in other climes. When the Americans bombed a hospital in Syria, I think it's 2017, that was just about the time when we had our run. The report is online. What was done was online. They said training was lacking in some of the air crew, so they are going to add hours of training. They said there's a procedure that was not followed. They are going to review the procedure. They told some people to lose command. These are the things that you do. If you say this is what you have done, I could not see how that violates security. Of course, there are other things you may not see. But to tell the people that we are working towards reducing these things, please, when eventually you set up the independent commission of inquiry, it investigates, it comes out with findings, share the findings with the public.
Group Captain, what more recommendations will you give the military and the federal government at this point?
Okay. First, I will give recommendations. Let me even start with people like me, ordinary citizens. Unfortunately, this incident and others, have taken a very dangerous dimension, apart from the loss of lives and property. I want to appeal to Nigerians that, look, without security, whether soldiers or police or civil defense or DSS and the rest, if these people are not on the line, putting their lives on the line, me and you cannot sleep. So when this incident happened, as much as we'll hold them responsible, is what we are doing. That is the purpose of this interview, and telling them how to improve. At the same time, we should be careful not to demoralize them in such a way that when a bandit, one day they will get a bandit, they will be afraid to attack the bandit. It will be counterproductive. I also want to call, I have seen some religious or regional organizations try to give either some regional or ethnic or religious colorations and even making personal attacks as some of the military commanders. I still call on understanding. With due respect, I'm saying this not because I am a former military man, but I think the military is one of the last institutions that keeps this country together, irrespective of religion. Let's not bring religious or ethnic coloration. I can assure you there is no commander or pilot or a drone operator, also a soldier holding gun that wakes up in the morning with the intention just to go and kill a Nigerian, an innocent Nigerian. But it could happen. So that is what I want to say. So this is first my recommendation to the general public. My recommendation to the federal government, please institute an independent investigation. I've explained what I mean by independent investigation. And also to identify the remote and immediate causes professionally of this incident. With a view, you might even review The report of the 27th Presidential Commission of Inquiry is still there. It's still, collateral damage is there, but nothing has been done. Give the training that is required. That is and also pay this solatium. In fact, have a public policy, whether it's an executive order, whether it is a law, that whenever any security agency, whether military, whether police, even police can injure somebody or kill somebody, there must be, it should not be an issue of debating. The person or the bereaved that he left behind, they deserve to be paid something. Those that lost their livelihood or lost their shops, they should also be compensated. That is my advice to the federal government. My last advice is to my comrades in arms. We have to accept one thing, and in fact this goes to all the security, whether we like it or not, the use of drones. The use of drones, in as much as a revolution in military affairs is bound to continue, we must accept that we are new in the area. Being new in the area, we must use drones with the knowledge that they have advantages, they also have limitations. There are also well and tested trainings, well and tested procedures that will minimize the incidence of collateral damage. Please, let's give our officers and men as much of this training. Let us do in-house introspection. We should not be shy to, apart from the independent committee, the services should look in-house what is causing collateral damage. I can assure you as a military man, if a honest introspection is done, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, they will find out why this thing happened.
All right. So,
These are, in short, the recommendations that I will give.
Thank you so much, Group Captain. Now, these villagers were commemorating Maulud at the time this incident happened. Is there any chance of identifying targets before bombing by a jet?
Yes. Identifying target, what is called positive identification. Positive identification, whether it is a manned aircraft or a drone like this case, there are ways you can come and do positive identification. And to be honest with you, the man in a drone even has more capacity for positive identification than a man in a manned aircraft. Why? The man in manned aircraft probably has fuel limitation. He can only stay in the air for a certain number of time. So maybe he may not have time to go down. And depending on the aircraft, if it is a fighter jet, he cannot even come down. He has to stay at a minimum height of maybe 10,000. It's only maybe a helicopter that can come down. So you see the limitation of that. But the man with a drone, one of the advantages of this particular drone that was used, it can stay in the air for 27 hours. What does it mean? The person operating the drone has the capacity to come down, has the capacity to loiter, has the capacity to go down. With due respect, you see, again, I must say, the problem we that analyze this after the event, I must underline that. I am examining this event after they have happened. Maybe the person who did the operation did not have the time to sit down in a comfortable chair and examine, but at least we must also examine. Had this operator of this drone come down, loitered, it is possible he will see among those crowd first, they are not holding anything in terms of weapon. They are not shooting upwards at him. He might even have seen that in the crowd there are children. He might even have seen that in the crowd there are women. If he sees this thing, in spite of the information that was given before that there are bandits, that would have made him to have a second rethink. And like I said, even in the Army Handbook of International Law, if you are not sure, it's like what they say in law. Any doubt should be resolved in favor of the accused. The teaching is if you are not sure that these people I'm hitting are Boko Haram, are bandits, are kidnappers, you cancel your attack and go back home. So these are positive identification. Until you positively identify, I was told bandits, and I can see bandits either from what they are holding, either from what they are doing, either from, whether they're advancing or withdrawing. There are battle indicators that will tell you these people have hostile intent. In a training that I deliver or rules of engagement, whether it is on the air or on the ground, there are indicators that will tell you a particular group that you are examining is a hostile group. It is a simple mnemonic. We said hand salute. Hand stands for one word. That is, what are they holding in their hands? If they are not holding weapons, even if they are bandits, it means they are not immediate danger that you can take the risk of shooting villagers and going after them. You can come another day. Then the salute. The S is for size. How many are they? the activity, what activity are doing. It is even possible if they are bandits, by the time you start coming, they will start shooting in the air, even if they cannot get you. The location, that Tudimbiri, is it a non-location of bandits? Not that bandits cannot enter anywhere, but as of within that time frame, is it a location of not bandits? If it is, a normal enemy like a foreigner, not troops, are they wearing, even bandits, though they don't have uniform, we know how they dress. We have an idea of how they dress. Either a camouflage shirt with bougie and all those kind of things. Yes.
Right. So quickly, some experts have called for Nigeria to develop counterinsurgency measures that protect civilians from harm. How do we go about this?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question, please.
All right. So some analysts have asked the country to provide or develop counterinsurgency measures that protect civilians from harm. How do we go about this?
Well, this is basic knowledge. What do I mean by basic knowledge? In our institutions, we teach international humanitarian law. International humanitarian law has the principles of distinction. What it means by distinction, you must distinguish between a civilian and a fighter. You must distinguish between a civilian object and a military object or a fighter's object. It also teaches us proportionality. I have mentioned proportionality. I've given an example here. What am I going to gain? For what price? If the price is higher than what I'm going to gain, you don't go. There's also feasible precaution from, knowing your general area. Where is hospital located? Where is market located? Where is school located in the area? Mapping it on your map. You have what is called situational awareness. So that front of me 500 meters, there's a hospital. To the left of me 800 meters, there is a market. And also knowing, that's why sometimes it's good for military or security people to stay in a place. I was discussing with a DSS man. He said they have this policy that if you go to a village or local government, you are going to stay for a long of time. The point I'm making in this particular distance, possibly, just calling one DSS man that, look, we have, the information we have here is that bandits are in Kurmimbili. They are assembling this night. What do you tell us? Even a DPO in that area, even an SSS who is staying in that area will tell you, sir, it is normal for this village to hold night Maulud celebration at this particular time, and it is Maulud time. This would have saved us all this analysis and question and answers we are saying. So the point I am making, we have the books. Probably is transferring what is inside the books into the heads of our officers and men. Maybe that's where the challenge is. So the training is there. It is not any new training, but imbibing it. With due respect, I was in the military. Unfortunately, I must say this. Most military training in Jaji or in War College is aimed at me coming first or second or getting what we call C+, so that I am rated high. But unfortunately, we do not see that training. The purpose of training, if you ask educators, is three. First, to gain the knowledge. Just the knowledge itself. I can memorize the principles of international humanitarian law. That is knowledge. You have gained that knowledge. Top, you will get A. The next thing is the psychomotor domain. What is the psychomotor domain? I can transfer this. Since they say distinction, I carry my weapon, whether my aircraft, I look through the side, I see a woman holding a baby. Automatically, I will drop my weapon because I know that's not a target I should engage. The next one is the affective domain. The training I gained that I should not target a civilian, I should not target a woman. It should become like second nature. It should become like second nature. So once I receive a report, Oga, we have 10 bandits that have entered the market. Entered market A. Market A, is it daytime or nighttime? It's daytime. The market is holding. We can't follow them. Automatically, you make that deduction. So this is what I want to see. The trainings are there. We must do more of them. The books are there. We must have more of them. And training. There are certain training that other armed forces is never enough. It's never enough. Even such like this collateral damage, for example, which is a constant problem. I will advocate that it becomes an annual mandatory training for all operators.
All right. Thank you so much. Retired Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, former Deputy Head of Security at the African Union Commission, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this evening. I always appreciate your time with us and your contribution on security matters. Thank you.